making some money and losing some more money.
Planes stranded.
I got pulled over.
I know that this is not a trucking specific video, but trucking provides this for me. Nothing else. This is all because of trucking. How's it going, guys? It's the Peruvian Trucker back with another video. A couple months ago I bought a BMW in California to bring to Florida, but I only got to road trip it to Salt Lake City. I had other commitments and I left it at the terminal and I went on vacation. Well, today's the day. I am flying with my family to Salt Lake City to visit some family and to pick up the car and inevitably drive it back to California and eventually back to Florida. But I'm very excited. Today's the day. We're about to head out. It's 4:42 in the morning. Our flight leaves at 7 in the morning. So we're gonna get going. Come along, guys. Come along.
Planes stranded on the tarmac. Airlines forced to handwrite boarding passes. Scenes of mayhem in airports across the world Friday after that massive IT outage brought flights to a standstill.
It's 4:23 in the morning. And we're getting picked up in like 7 minutes because of the outage on the flights issued 2 days ago. We're trying to get there like 3 hours early because we have to check a bag and we want to make sure that we don't have any issues there. So we already got an email where they're offering vouchers to get a different flight, and it's already been an issue to reschedule everything. Again, this is not a pity party, just saying. We're excited to go. That's that. So I'm gonna put my shoes on, I'm gonna comb my hair, and we're gonna hit the road again. Fingers crossed. Let's go, guys. And this is when the problems really started. So back in April, I left the car in the Salt Lake City terminal, and because I knew it was going to be sitting for a couple of months, I had the bright idea of disconnecting the battery. The entire flight there, my dad was asking me whether or not the car was going to start. And in my mind, I was like bragging to myself and patting myself on the back, saying, of course it's going to start. I disconnected the battery. I just got to hook it up and it's going to be all good. Except that when we got there, the car wouldn't unlock. And I should have seen this coming. As you guys know, I have a BMW 5 Series from roughly the same generation, and I have had issues when it wouldn't unlock because the battery was dead. I just didn't think that would happen. I just didn't cross my mind for this one. And that was one of my biggest fears, you know, like I brought the family over and we're ready to go on a trip and we don't have a car. And of course we're reconnecting with family, so it's not like I have a lot of time to deal with this issue. Thankfully I was able to borrow a car and drive to an AutoZone that was over an hour away in Ogden, Utah, because that was the only AutoZone that had the tool that I thought I could use to break into the car without damaging it as much. But that didn't work, so after countless hours of dragging my dad to help me and trying to fix it myself, I made an executive decision.
Ya toma.
¿Estás listo?
¿Ah, en una esquina es?
Sí, más fácil. From the moment I found out that the car wouldn't unlock, I knew that breaking the window was a possibility. I just didn't want to do it. I was trying to figure out a way to break into the car without breaking the window. Honestly, I regret that. I wish I would have just come to terms with that sooner to get it out of the way and move on with enjoying the vacation. Thankfully, by the second day in the morning, I had come to terms with it.
Qué pena.
Es un rap.
Cuidado que te vas a cortar la mano. Entonces hay que tratar de sacarlo hacia afuera con el desarmador, para que bote todos los vidrios hacia afuera.
And honestly, at that moment, I felt a little bit of relief. I hooked on the battery and the car started right up, and we were off to the races. Thankfully, our family in Salt Lake City had a garage, so we were able to just store the car for the day and head out to explore the city. We went to wash the car, and for those who want to grill me for using a brush to wash the car, bite me.
Inside, as this is the North American Hybrids.
¿Qué vamos a escribirle? ¿Ah? ¿Qué le quieres escribir? So, it's 11:30 o'clock at night. We have to leave for St. George, Utah tomorrow at 6 in the morning, meaning we gotta be up by 5:20-ish and get ready. And we're just getting done. My dad forgot his phone in the car. That's how the window is. Caro. I love it.
The next day.
Because of the whole outage situation and missing our flight initially, we had to cut our vacation short. My dad was still required to come back to work on the date that he was scheduled to. So we decided to cut short our time at Zion National Park. Ideally, me personally, I would have rather get a couple days there, but there were other places that my parents were more inclined to see, and let's be honest, I can always come back or always go back whenever I feel like. I still, however, wanted to visit the Kolob Reservoir in the outskirts of Zion National Park in the northern section or the northern area, and it didn't disappoint. It saved us the time that we would have spent going on hikes. We were able to just drive there, and the scenery getting there was really beautiful. But then the scenery at the place, at the reservoir, was so nice. The weather was perfect, and there was even a rainbow. We stayed in Kanab, Utah for the night, and the next day we explored the city. And then we went to the Belly of the Dragon, which is a cave or tunnel that I wanted to explore north of Kanab. And I gotta be honest, I didn't really record much after that. We went to Vegas straight from there, and I had been to Vegas before, so I just took it in and enjoyed myself. My dad hadn't been to Vegas before, it was his first time. I had been there before with my mom and my grandma, so I pretty much just enjoyed myself and, spent time with the family. After spending a couple of days in Vegas, making some money and losing some more money, it was time to head for California. And this is when our family from Salt Lake City started heading back to Utah. So then it was just me and my parents in the car. Now the drive from Vegas to LA is not that eventful. It's really just I-15 down, but I wanted to drive through Death Valley. It's always been one of my dreams. Probably not the best time of the year to drive through Death Valley in the middle of July, but it was a fun time. We were on a tight schedule to get to LA and explore LA. Once again, because of the outage, we had to compress some of our stops. So we only stopped twice in Death Valley to take in the scenery before we had to rush to LA. One thing that added insult to injury was actually that we missed an exit. This was when my dad was driving. Now, I would love to place the blame on him, but it was my idea to go through Death Valley, and I was the one looking at the map, so really it was my fault. We drove like a solid 30 to 45 minutes past the exit, and the signal was horrible in Death Valley, so that played a role on it. I didn't prepare for that, and I didn't download the map, but we eventually made it to Los Angeles. Well, guys, what can I say? It's been like, what, 5-7 days that I've been on vacation, and I really haven't had a chance to like record. Oh, look at the squirrel. Oh. Anyway, as I was saying, I really haven't had a chance to record. I'm in California right now. It is 7:09 p.m. I dropped off my parents at the top of the Griffith, at the top of the hill where the Griffith Observatory is. You can actually see it right there. And there was no parking, so I had to park all the way at the bottom, and I'm hiking up. It's like 3/4 of a mile to get there, and this is pretty much all the free time that I have where I can go ahead and talk to you. It's more than likely going to be a narrated video with a bunch of clips, because really we've been like shopping spree sightseeing, if that makes sense, and still talking with my family and giving that the priority. So not as much time to just sit down and record and talk until now. But yeah, look at that. Looks pretty cool. We wanted to see the sunset, but the sun's setting all the way over there behind the mountain or behind the hill, and we're not gonna get to see it now. We're still gonna stay here, and tomorrow probably we'll drive up to Malibu to see the sunset there. But yeah, fun times. Look at the view, guys. We're almost at the top. And of course, the one day that I have to go on a hike is the one day that I'm wearing like fancy sneakers. I've had my Timberland hiking boots on for the last 6 days, with the exception of like yesterday afternoon and last night that I've been wearing these. Serves me right. But we're almost here. You can see downtown LA behind me. On our last day in LA, we did the Warner Brothers Studios studio tour. We were debating between doing that, Universal Studios, or Disneyland. And the thing with Universal Studios and Disneyland is that those are theme parks primarily, and we wanted a studio-specific tour. Personally, I wanted to do the Universal Studios backlot tour because I'm a huge fan of Back to the Future. But once again, that's not a studio-specific or dedicated tour, and it was the wise choice. We had a blast at Warner Brothers. I was geeking out. We had a great tour guide, and I love movies in general, so I was asking a lot of questions about filming and casting, and just being in the sets was pretty cool. And of course, I did enjoy the Looney Tunes, the Flintstones, the Jetsons, Hanna-Barbera stuff like Scooby-Doo growing up. So it was pretty, albeit in Spanish, but I was really happy to see some of the drawings. That was pretty cool. My favorite show from, they used to show, there used to be a channel called Boomerang in Peru, and my favorite show was the Wacky Races and the Starly flying machines, I think it was. I just love the Starly. So, dang.
Politically simple. I merely turned the exit sign around.
So I dropped my parents off at the airport so they could fly home, and that's when my solo road trip started. I planned out a route from Los Angeles all the way to Fort Lauderdale with 3 major stops. I wanted to see some friends in Phoenix, a friend in Houston, and a friend in Orlando. The drive went fairly smooth with one exception. I've driven from Florida to Phoenix, Arizona on I-10 countless times. And there's this 400-mile stretch between San Antonio and El Paso where there's pretty much nothing. Few exits, 80-mile-an-hour speed limit. And I know it very well. However, it didn't stop this from happening. Okay, so it is about, what, 10:45? 11 o'clock at night? The car's off, so I can't really look at the clock. Because I got pulled over. And honestly, I should have known better, because this wasn't the first time that I had a police encounter in that part of the country. 20 minutes driving. Guess what? And I wasn't out there trying to set any speed records. It was the middle of the night. I was going slightly over the speed limit. No cars on the road other than me and the police officer that happened to run into me, or that I happened to run into. That was pretty cool, honestly. I've had a couple of encounters with the police. And this was one of the better ones, I gotta say. But needless to say, I will be on my best behavior the next time that I drive in that part of the country.
No fines, no penalties. All right?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. You couldn't find a vehicle that was closer to Florida, man?
Well, the thing is that this one has 220,000 miles, but the transmission has just been redone.
Okay.
I have a 5 Series and a 3 Series of the same generation, so this is the one that completes the pair.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah.
You be safe, okay?
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
And other than that, the drive went pretty smooth. I was actually very pleased with the fact that the car did 88 miles an hour for 120 miles without breaking a sweat. And it shouldn't be surprising given the fact that I drove it like 2,000 miles when I bought it, and then we did the whole road trip with the family. But I don't know, it's like one of those things where, like, I mean, when you think about it for a second, I was just in awe of the car. Patting myself on the back once more. Great purchase. And you know, up to that point, it would have been enough. Like, I had a blast. Just traveling all over the country, seeing friends all over the country, picking up a car that I bought, spending time with my family. But it wasn't over yet. I had scheduled a dentist appointment to remove my wisdom teeth, and I got that done, but they told me that they wanted me back in a week for a checkup. And the last time I removed my wisdom teeth, my upper wisdom teeth, I had that done in Peru, and I was eating burgers 2 days after they got removed. This was my first time having any type of dental procedure in America, because they said they wanted to see me a week from when I got my teeth removed. I had to stay home for another week, and I didn't plan that. The plan was to pick up the car, have time with the family, do this road trips, and get back on the road. But again, I was forced to stay home for a week. Pity me. In the end, it all worked out for the best though, because I've always wanted to go see Monster Jam. I've lived in America for 12 years now, and I've never seen monster trucks. And I've always known that it's in the summer, but it so happened that weekend that I was supposed to be out back on the road, but I had to stay because of the dental stuff, was the weekend when Monster Jam was happening in Florida. So I got 2 resale tickets. I bought them on the fly, just for me and my dad, and we went. I was really happy to go. What I didn't realize was that the tickets that I bought, which were secondhand, they were at the bottom, the closest you could get to the arena, and they came with a free buffet, which I was not able to take advantage of because of my wisdom teeth being removed. So that was mildly depressing. Pity me all you want. But other than that, it was great. I used to have a Gravedigger monster truck toy as a kid, so it was great to see the Gravedigger truck doing tricks for the first time in my life. And that's pretty much it, guys. Like, obviously, there was some downtime in between all these major things that were happening. Downtime that allowed for me to just recharge at home, playing guitar. I even built one of my Legos. I may make a separate video about that because I have the footage. I don't know if I lost it actually. I may still have the footage. But once again, beyond thankful, beyond blessed for the opportunities that trucking has provided. Never in my life would I have imagined, or would I have thought that I would have the ability to take 2 months off in a year. This is the 2nd month off that I take. And you know that the sacrifice that I have to make through trucking it's a job that I love. Like, so I love being out on the road right now, and it provides for me to do other things that I love when I'm out of it, which is to keep driving, really. Like, I drive for a living, 600 miles a day on average, the days that I do run. I go home, I hop on my car, and then I drive some more. I drive twice that much, my personal cars. So I'm beyond grateful. I'm beyond thankful for what trucking has provided for me. And I know that this is not a trucking specific video, but I love sharing this, not only because I want to share it for myself, but because trucking provides this for me. Nothing else. This is all because of trucking. I wouldn't be able to afford the car that I bought in California. I wouldn't be able to afford the vacation itself. And even if I could afford it, I wouldn't be able to take this amount of time off without consequence. You can argue that me going in the hole is a consequence, but I can still manage it. I'm not putting myself in a bankruptcy situation or a stressful situation financially. Trucking has provided all of the resources for me to be able to afford all this time off while making all of the money that allows for it. Stressless. No, is it stressless? Is that the right word? Stress-free. Stress-free. And I hope that you guys appreciate that, because honestly, the one thing that I would argue is a little painful or a little sad for me is the time that I spent away from my parents. We only have so much time with our parents, especially as adults, and I feel for that. But honestly, if I were to be home every day or see them every weekend, which I would still love, but I wouldn't have the opportunity to take these trips with them, which let me backtrack a little bit. Not being able to see them every weekend or every day as I would want, it's not ideal. It's not great, but it does allow for me to value the time that I do spend with them when I'm home and to make the most of it. And then when you add the fact that because I spend all that time away, we can do all this extraordinary stuff. Instead of just like hanging out at the house, we can go on a trip, we can go to a restaurant, we can go on a road trip, you know, make up for all that lost time in a very special way. I don't know that it makes it 100% worth it, or makes up for all of the time lost, but it certainly makes it special, if that makes sense. Hopefully it makes sense to someone. It makes some sense to me, I think. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you made it to this part of the video, I really appreciate it. I know this is a trucking channel and you don't have to be watching this. If you made it to this portion of the video, or really, I mean, well, you won't know, you won't hear me saying this if you didn't make it to this section of the video. But if you gave this video the time of day, which is just me being self-indulgent, I really appreciate it, and I hope you at least enjoyed it. Maybe hopefully put a smile on your face, or validate the fact that I'm an idiot for breaking a window. But either way, I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great week. Bye.